morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always, told out of Voice Radio. So today, we're going to be looking at a new Chatot. Although, for some of you that have been playing a little while, this is going to look rather familiar. It is, in fact, going to look an awful lot like the old Chatot. Let me explain, would you? So starting off then, if we have a look at the basics, I should mention our translations when we get there will come from the lovely David Hochmann over at limitlesstcg.com/translations. And the basics here, 70 HP, I actually really don't like. Professor Elm's lecture is a thing. Lets you search for Pokemon with 60 HP or less. This literally gives you an almost inconsequential bump in HP at the expense of not being grabbed with a supporter card you're probably going to want to be playing. So that kind of sucks. And the weakness to lightning, I mean, look, we looked at Stunfisk the other day. So admittedly, Stunfisk will not get a one-hit KO because he is 70 HP. But lightning Pokemon are everywhere. But then again, you've got 70 HP. I could tell you about Electro Power, but it doesn't really matter because you got 70 HP. And I could tell you about Thunder Mountain, but it doesn't really matter because you've got 70 HP. Not good, ladies and gentlemen. The retreat cost of 1 is alright, gives you free retreat with a skateboard, and it's quite low, but, I mean, come on, it should be free. He was free. And the resistance to fighting is very, very nice. There's still stuff like Buzzwole running around, but again, you got 70 HP. So, not amazing stat-wise, if I'm perfectly honest with you. But can we do better? Well, yes. We got a really nice attack here for 1 colorless energy. Shuffle your hand into your deck. Draw as many cards as your opponent has cards in their hand. You mimic your opponent's hand. You shuffle your hand into your deck and draw as many cards as your opponent has. So, it's Copycat. And look, Copycat's in the format at the moment. It sees extremely little play because we got better draw cards like Cynthia and Lily. But the fact of the matter is we do have it at the moment. This is it as an attack. Now, obviously, you could go here, we'll just use Copycat, but obviously this is after your attack. So if you need to get a new hand of cards, make no mistake about it, this is rather nice. It's good in terms of giving you extra cards, giving you extra draw power, etc. And this is a stage where we need to look at him again, because we've had this. We had this Chatot. We had Chatot that had Mimic back in Majestic Dawn. Except there were 3 massive advantages. Firstly, it had 60 HP, which was nice, because it could have been got with Professor Elm's lecture. Secondly, it had free retreat, which is awesome. Thirdly, Mimic could be used for no energy. Now, that's actually huge, because if you start with a Pokemon that's got 1 retreat cost, you can attach an energy, retreat it, and then use a 0 energy attack. We've all been doing this with Alolan Vulpix since Alolan Vulpix came out. It means you can use your energy for the turn to retreat, because you don't need to use your energy for the turn to pay the attack cost. That makes a huge difference. So, better HP, weirdly, even though it's lower, and better retreat cost, and better attack cost. And actually, it only had a minus 20 weakness to lightning, or plus 20. It only meant that lightning did an extra 20. So, if your opponent's doing 20 or more damage, it's as bad or worse. So, honestly, if we could have had an exact reprint of the Majestic Dawn Chatot, that would be quite a bit better than the Chatot we've been given. But if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a very Merry Christmas. There's nothing we can do about that at the moment, so let's move away from that and instead move towards, can we do something with this? Can we make this playable? Can we use it? And the fact of the matter is, it's a basic Pokemon for a single colorless energy. So unless it was free, it really is about the best that we can do in terms of being a techable option, in terms of being able to just chuck it into a deck and use it. So we're not worried about being able to use it. Being able to use it is fine. What we are worried about is whether it's better than the alternatives. Because we've got a whole bunch of basic Pokemon we can be using here. Really, the gold standard is, and has been for a while, the Alolan Vulpix. Lets you search for any 2 Pokemon, pop them in your hand for 0 energy. And look, sometimes that's good, sometimes it's not. Now, the fact that it evolves into Alolan Ninetales, which lets you grab 2 item cards when you evolve up, is wonderful. But the fact that that's taking a turn to evolve and it gives up 2 prizes, etc., etc., it's still not going to find you energy, and it's not going to find you a supporter card, so it's still not perfect. There are many times this will be just that little bit better. And we don't have any copycat Pokemon or mimic Pokemon in the format at the moment. The last one we had was the Mr. Mime from Fates Collide, which did it for 1 fairy energy. And actually, you doing it for a colourless energy is way better than your opponent doing it for a fairy energy. And we've got plenty of draw Pokemon in the format at the moment, but how many of them are actually good? So we had a Plusle and a Minun that came out a little while ago. They came out in Celestial Storm and they both gave you options. So Plusle for 1 colourless energy on a basic Pokemon with 70 HP and a retreat cost of 1. Sound familiar? Shuffle your hand into your deck, then draw a card for each benched Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's. And Minun, which came out in the same set, Ditch and Draw. You may discard as many cards from your hand as you like, and then draw until you have 5 cards in hand. So these are all inherently unreliable. Plusle, great if you've got a full bench and your opponent's got a full bench. I mean, it's literally Colrus. Whereas Minun lets you just ditch a whole bunch of Pokemon or other cards from your hand and then draw. It's literally Tourist, or Sightseer as it was actually released over here, which as far as I'm concerned, right, much better name. And I mean literally Sightseer. So now we've got Plusle, which is Colrus, and we've got Minun, which is Sightseer, and now we've got Chatot, which is Copycat. So now we're back in this, look, it doesn't matter which supporter you like, you can essentially have it. Want to use a Cynthia? Well, Cynthia's a bit more awkward. You see, Cleffa is coming out in this same set, and Cleffa's got an ability which ends your turn, and you flip a coin, and if heads, you shuffle your hand into your deck and draw 6, just like Cynthia does, but it is on a coin flip. So I like this more than I like Cleffa. This has a lot of potential. There are a couple of situations where this is really good, and it is after Rayquaza's GX attack, Eevee and Snorlax's GX attack, or Drampa's GX attack. Rayquaza is discard and draw, Drampa is shuffle and draw, Eevee and Snorlax is just draw, but all 3 of them leave your opponent with 10 cards in hand. If you can use this after they play that, it's pretty wonderful. My apprehension with this attack is that I don't know if we're in the format at the moment to really take advantage of this. I don't know if we're in a format where we're playing lots of Pokemon for attacks like this. But if we end up in that format, or if we are in that format, this is a decent little attack. I certainly like it more than the other attack. The other attack is, to be blunt, uninspiring. 1 colourless energy, 10 damage plus confusion. Cool, I suppose. I mean, look, you're not hitting anything for weakness, but confusion can be nice to try and slow your opponent down. Force them to flip a coin if tails when they attack. If tails, they take 3 damage counters and the attack fails. The thing is, Xurkitree is a much bigger Pokemon that does 20 and confusion for 1 energy, and it's a lightning Pokemon, so it can use all that stuff like Electro Power. So I think I'm probably going for that, if I'm honest. Chatot is good if you want a Pokemon to use to draw some cards during your turn. There's a lot of aggressive decks around at the moment that don't want that. They want to attack at the end of their turn, and when we got stuff like Miss Magius coming in the same set, you can KO it and then draw until you got 7 cards in hand. There's an argument that this is just too slow. Back in the Heart Gold Soul Silver era, i.e. when the last Chatot was around, this was great. And make no mistake about it, the Chatot from Majestic Dawn was phenomenal and saw a huge amount of play. But people were willing back then to give up their turn to draw. And it had free retreat, and it was for 0 energy. I'm still going to give this one free Wassies because I think it's got potential. I think you need a copy or two in your binder because you might want to chuck it into some slower decks. And that pretty much is the definition of a free Wassie card. Keep a copy or two in your binder because you might want to chuck it into decks. But I don't think it's phenomenal, and I don't think it is as the old Chatot was. But I would very much like to know what you think about this Chatot, so please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! But please do remember the rule, ladies and gentlemen. Be nice, would you? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassiePlays, where we talk about games that don't have Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.